the power of frames within frames within frames within frames. Let's get into it. Today we're going to explore a vital aspect of street photography composition: framing. The technique of framing within the frame, where you use elements like doorways, windows, and other natural and man-made elements to spotlight your subject. This approach not only draws the viewer's eye into the scene, but also adds depth and context to your photos. So let's dive in and see how we can creatively use frames to enhance our street photography. Let's jump straight in. Historically, frames have been an integral part of artwork, just as traditional paintings are often surrounded by physical frames. Using natural or man-made frames in photography echoes this practice, guiding the viewer's gaze and adding a layer of compositional depth. By using elements like doorways, windows, or even subtle elements like signs, objects, and even people, we create a visual boundary that naturally focuses the viewer's attention onto the subject within the frame and adds depth and detail to the image. Frames help to tell a story within the photo, drawing viewers in and making them feel like that they're peeking into a moment in time. The kinds of frames that you can include into your compositions are natural frames such as trees, branches and foliage, architectural frames such as doorways, windows and arches, and then you have subtle and environmental frames, elements like shadows, street signs, or anything else that you think just might work as a frame. Plus, you can also practice shooting shop window reflections using window displays creatively as an implicit frame. I will link up above right now my tutorial on shooting window reflections. I have found that one of the most creative ways that you can frame a subject is by using people. From experience doing this a few times, I have found that the best way of creating a frame using a person is to have the person who is the frame to be towards the foreground and towards the edges of the composition. And using everyday items such as shop paraphernalia, I was very fortunate to capture this guy standing in between these two vintage shirts that are displayed on the body mannequins, which you can see act as a subtle or implied frame. And in this shot, this guy is subtly framed by the people on either side. So just have fun with what you can find to use as a frame and get creative as possible. Finding frames in everyday scenes starts with developing a keen eye for finding potential framing elements in your surroundings. Train yourself to see parts of the environment that surrounds you as tools for enhancing your compositions. Frames can be subtle and varied. As you have seen, they don't have to be square or all-encompassing. Remember, street photography is all about creativity and exploration, so keep moving, observing, and experimenting until you find that unique and interesting frame. In this image, I've positioned the camera so that the foliage creates a suggested frame on the edge of the subject, whilst the subject stands in between two kite signs that frame her in the distance. And in this image, the upside down chairs form an implied makeshift triangle frame around the subject who is sitting behind. You can capture shots like this easily by observing the natural and man-made elements around you and continuously practicing and incorporating them as frames around your subjects in your compositions. If you're getting something out of this video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I always appreciate it. Patience and timing are crucial when it comes to framing your shots. Often the perfect frame and subject alignment won't happen instantly. You might need to wait for the right person to walk into the right spot, or for the light to hit just right, which is rare in my case. Don't rush the process. Instead, take your time to observe and anticipate moments when your frame aligns perfectly with your subject. This patience can make all of the difference, as it gives you the potential to capture that perfect, elusive moment when everything comes together. In this image here, I position the camera so that the top of the music shop sign was positioned at the bottom of the frame, and this weathered street post was at the edge of the frame. Inside this frame, you have the bike sign post and then the bollard standing in the middle of the frame. I then waited for the right subject and then managed to capture this person who was wearing bright colours that contrast with the vividly coloured shop front. And I made sure that I directly captured them in between the bollard and the street bike sign. So it's just a matter of moving your body and your camera and framing up so that any elements that you have found can create a frame in the composition. And then all you have to do is just wait for the right subject to come along. It's all about keeping an eye out for those simple or complex frames and using aperture priority and auto ISO so that you can quickly grab those shots when the elements come together. I shoot with apertures ranging from f2.8 for the darker areas all the way up to f14 when I wanted shots with more depth throughout the image. I also use auto ISO from 100 ISO to 3200 ISO, which would give me enough brightness in partially covered or covered areas with a minimum shutter speed of 1/250th of a second. And I also used auto area autofocus in the center mode on my Ricoh GR3X. For lenses, shoot with whatever lens you know will get you the composition that you want, plus whatever lens you're comfortable shooting with. For me, on this shoot, it was the 40mm equivalent lens on my Ricoh GR3X. Plus, I also used the crop modes 50mm and 71mm. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to annoy potential subjects by getting into their faces. Therefore, I like to remain as stealthy as possible and shoot as many subjects as I can from a distance. So, despite my disability, I consider myself to be a middle-aged ninja when I'm on the streets. So, do you have any ideas for shooting frames, or do you know any potential places where you can utilize them in your photography? Please let us know down below. Remember, using frames in your street photography not only draws attention to your subjects, but also adds depth and detail to your images. So go out there, keep exploring and experimenting with this great compositional tool. However, if you want to know if the Osmo Pocket 3 is the ultimate street photography camera, then check out this video here. Until we meet again, go forth and create.